Are you thinking about downsizing your home? Make sure you watch this video so that you don't accidentally make a mistake and have to move back. If you've been thinking about downsizing your home, that's great. I've talked to a lot of people about that. The real estate market is really hot right now, but I just want to make sure that you go into it thinking about all the different considerations that go into making this huge move, especially if you're thinking about making a move from your current home to a different state. You know, maybe you want to move somewhere warmer, which is great, but like I said, there's more that goes into it than just the sale of your current home and the purchase of the new home. Specifically, I do want to talk about healthcare. That's a big one. You want to have access to healthcare. Friends, family, are you going to still be able to visit them? Or maybe that's why you're moving, to be closer to them. And then of course, taxes, that's a big one. Moving from one state to another state, one city to a different city, there's a lot of different tax implications that go into that. Is there going to be a new state income tax? Is there going to be higher property taxes? What about sales tax? Is that different in the new place that you're moving to? So these definitely factor into it. And then of course, estate planning. That's one where you've got to take into consideration the different probate laws that exist in a new state. And then maybe there's different, if you're going to keep your current home and rent it out, but you're going to live in a different state, that opens up another can of worms when it comes to estate planning. And then finally, I just want to talk about this concept of try before you buy. Maybe the new place that you're moving to is somewhere that you've visited or vacationed, or maybe you've just looked at it online and it looks great, but is it going to be that perfect destination to live for 10, 20, 30 years in retirement? I'll talk about all those different topics quickly today, and of course I'm going to put a link down below in the description to a blog post that Merriman just recently put out that goes over the different pros and cons of downsizing. And of course, if you have more questions, well, let's connect. So with that said, let's dive into it. Let's start with healthcare. So, one of the different search criteria that you definitely need to put into your new home or your downsizing plan is there healthcare options nearby? Probably right now where you're currently living, you've got either a doctor or at least a hospital that you know about. Does that same kind of commute or at least proximity to healthcare exist in the new location that you're thinking about? This is one that might seem small, but look into it. If you can go visit it ahead of time, that'd be great. But healthcare is a big topic for long-term planning and retirement planning especially. So just make sure that you know what options are available for this new home. The other thing I want to talk about is just, from a personal level, do you know the people that live in this new area? Do you have friends? Do you have family nearby? If not, have you met anyone? Are you able to kind of plug into a new friend group down there? Again, this is one that doesn't really have any sort of monetary value behind it, but it is really important. This is one that you want to make sure that if you want to be closer to family, that's great. Ensure that you're going to have a good commute to maybe visiting family, friends, kids, grandkids, those kind of things. So, this is one that, again, doesn't really have a lot of financial planning behind it, but it's nice to know about. The third topic that I want to talk about is taxes. I think I kind of touched on it at the beginning there, but when you move to a new city, a new state, make sure that you go into it with a little bit of planning around taxes. So, if you're leaving the state of Washington, but maybe you're moving to California, you need to know about the state income taxes. You need to know about property taxes. And, those differences, they aren't going to factor into maybe a new mortgage, but you should definitely factor those into your budget. So from a tax perspective, making the jump from one state to another, or what you would consider downsizing, you might not be saving as much as you thought you would once you start adding up all those different taxes. So that's a big one. Of course, if you can talk to someone that lives down there, they're going to have the best insight into how the taxes work. But yeah, don't forget about taxes when you're creating your new budget. And then from an estate planning perspective, when you own two homes in two different states, well, it's really important that your estate plan addresses that. And maybe that's not the case. Maybe you're going to sell your current home and move to a new home. That's truly downsizing. Well, again, just make sure that is there a state estate tax in the new location that you're moving to? Make sure that your estate plan addresses that too. And from a probate perspective, probate is different in every state, so this is something that you at least want to look into, to learn about, and hopefully, this just kind of gets your mind going in the right direction. That there's a checklist that you should probably look at if you're thinking about making the jump. Real estate is crazy right now. I know that that's such a big focus, but just ensure that you realize that estate planning should at least be part of the conversation whenever you're thinking about downsizing and making a jump to a new state. And the last thing that I want to talk about today is this idea of try before you buy. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with clients or maybe just friends and family that have decided they're going to move to a warm, sunny location. You know, they're getting out of Seattle, for example, and they want to go somewhere where it only rains a few days a year. And they might have done some research online, and maybe they've been there on vacation in the past, but living somewhere and vacationing somewhere, those are two totally different things. So I'm a huge proponent of this try before you buy concept. And you know, in today's world where you can get these kind of short-term or even long-term rentals, maybe go somewhere and live there for a few months, live there in the summer, live there in the winter, try it out. And you might realize that, yeah, those vacations that you took in the past were amazing, but maybe living there permanently isn't for you. So again, try before you buy, and especially if you can do it in different seasons, different times of the year, and just really get to know the community, not from a vacationing standpoint, but as a new resident. There you go. There's at least some ideas to think about when it comes to downsizing your current home. There is going to be a blog post in the link below, so if you want to read more about this, definitely click on that. Or if you have more questions, feel free to reach out, shoot me an email, put something on the calendar. I'm happy to talk with you about what are the different steps that you need to consider before you downsize your current home. My name is Alan Hensley. I'm a wealth advisor here at Merriman Wealth Management in Seattle, Washington. I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to check out my other videos, definitely hit that subscribe button. And of course, hopefully we can connect in the future. Thanks so much. Have a great day.